One of the constant things you'll hear Quack Defenders go on about is the Big Pharma conspiracy. Now, I've said time and time and time again, but it's always continually worth repeating this. Big Pharma is big for a reason. There is a demand for their product, which is medicine. They are big because they need to supply that demand. And guess what? There are smaller drug companies. These big companies will hire out smaller drug companies to do research for them. Or these small drug companies will develop a drug and then sell the patent on to a bigger drug company because they don't have the capability to be able to develop it or to distribute it even more. That's the reality of the situation. However, Quack Defenders get into this mind that somehow Big Pharma is suppressing them. Can you actually give me a situation? I challenge you, any of you Quack Defenders, give me a situation where a Big Pharma company, on purpose, has suppressed knowledge of a natural drug or treatment, and they've hushed it up. They've, swept it under the rug. Can you actually give me any information as to when that's happened? No, you can't. You cannot give me that information because it's never happened. It doesn't exist. If Big Pharma, for example, discovered that, I don't know, apples, for example, contained a chemical ingredient that could, I don't know, cure chickenpox. Let's say the great chickenpox, could be permanently wiped from the face of childhood illnesses forever. All you had to do was, this enzyme in an apple, and it cured you. Your child would not get chickenpox ever. It's like a vaccine essentially. Why the hell is Big Pharma not going to sell that? Of course they're going to sell it. Don't be ridiculous. So you cannot say that type of thing. It is flat out wrong. And I've said this again and again and again. But a lot of these arguments that they have given to me about covering up evidence, false news stories, lies about how well their treatment works, apply more to the quack you are defending than it does to Big Pharma companies. Because each Big Pharma company is in a race to discover the next big thing. Because if one Big Pharma company, let's say, take that, the apple chickenpox cure, if one Big Pharma company discovers it, and they develop it and patent it, which is their right to, they are allowed to do that, then all the other Big Pharma companies have lost out. That means unless they sort of take it and change it, which is what a lot of Big Pharma companies do, there are a lot of, how should you say, paracetamols or drugs on the market which do exactly the same thing, but their chemical composition is just slightly different enough for them to be able to patent it, even though there's a product literally next to it on the shelf which does exactly the same thing. You do not understand the business end of it. And that alone, I've just literally just disproven the Big Pharma conspiracy right there and then. But it doesn't matter to these people because, as I said when I was way back when I first started talking about conspiracy theories and debunking their claims, they cocoon themselves in a web where they have to believe that Big Pharma is, destroying these natural cures, when if you actually look at the chemicals that things that that they're using in these drugs, they're natural. And we just did a video last week about the EBC 46. That is going to have to be synthesized because there just isn't enough brushwood to be able to supply that chemical that they need. So they're going to have to synthesize it. But, there you go. And I've just had another comment today, which was even more hilarious, from a Quack Defender, literally saying that the evidence that big pharma companies produce, all these lab and test results and studies, are all fake. How are you meant to reach or even talk to some of these people sometimes? There's a guy who I had a conversation with just recently on one of the posts, and I'm just like, you haven't provided any evidence of your claims. In fact, you just provided evidence that goes against your claims. You said that Big Pharma weren't interested in these natural cures, but then you post these things from PubMed, a depository of medical studies on a natural substance that big pharma companies have done research on. So sometimes it's absolutely insanely ridiculous talking to these people because they don't understand scientific papers. It's absolutely insane sometimes, it really is.